Good evening, my name is Brian Mims, and this is my submission video to become an e-nable volunteer. The hand that I'm going to be submitting for approval tonight is the Unlimited Phoenix version 2 using the Whipple tree. I currently work as a physician assistant for the United States Army, and I've been 3D printing for well over a year now. I currently own 3 printers, a modified RepRap Guru Prusa clone, a Folgertech console, and I just recently completed construction of my own custom console XXL with a 400mm print bed. Okay, we'll go into demonstration. As we can see, the hand does function. Go ahead and go. Simple bottle of water. Go ahead and go. As you can see, hand picks it up fairly easily. No issues there. Unopened bottle of Coke. You see, hand picks it up fairly easily. Okay, we'll go and talk about demonstrate print quality. I printed this actually on 2 of my printers. The red bits were printed on my custom console. The yellow bits were printed on my RepRap Guru Prusa clone, both with PLA and at 35% infill with a 0.1mm resolution. I'll go ahead and zoom in on the fingers. As you can see, I like to think those are fairly well done. I know that's often a common issue with some printers, having issues with the resolution. I like to think my custom console did fairly well with those. Go ahead and move on to here. As you can see, 0.1mm resolution. I think came out actually fairly decent looking, at least on the outside. We'll kind of go from there. Okay. Now we'll go into the demonstration of functionality. As you can see, I used the Whipple tree, and all the tensioners do in fact work. Like I spent quite a bit of time tonight practicing getting the tension just right. Whipple tree does. Let's see if I can get that right. My apologies. Get that so you can see, and the Whipple tree. Sorry, I'm not used to doing this. Does move. Okay. We'll go on and go to the gauntlet. I thermoformed the gauntlet, basically using the instructions I found online, using hot water and a wood block, and I think it worked out fairly well. As you can see, fairly well formed. I'm actually pretty well practiced with thermoforming. I do custom wrist braces for my medical practice with 3D printed, so not that new to thermoforming. All right, we'll start with the wrist pins. My little checklist over here. Wrist pins are in there fairly well. You can see wrist pins in there fairly well. We'll go on into the finger pins. As you can see, those are in there fairly well sized, not coming out. No issues with them coming out. Okay, we already talked about the fingertip quality. I'm going to go into the stress test. As you can see, gauntlet, fairly strong. I actually use professional PLA for most of my prints, so that has I like to think that's a nice strength to it. As you can see, kind of stress test the fingers. Those do fairly well. Not going to break any of those. This pad is actually done with PLA, but I've seen some people on other videos using TPU, and I think I'm going to make that standard practice on all my hands from here on. It's using TPU. Talked about stress testing. Okay, let me just show that all the fingers move. As you can see, all the fingers move fairly well. No issues there. Okay, and lastly, to talk about issues, I think the biggest issues I ran into, frankly, was actually the mistake I made was printing on 2 different printers. I think the issue I've run into is I have a little bit of finger jiggle that I'm not very happy with. I think that has to do with some of the space between the phalanxes. See, I'm not super happy with that. I think that has to do with printing on 2 different printers and there being a little bit of variance between the 2 printers. And I think my solution for that in the future is just going to be printing a hand on all the same printer. I think that will solve that problem fairly effectively. And the other issue, and again, I'm not super happy with some of the first layering off my Prusa. As you can see, it's functional, but it's a little ugly, especially when compared to my custom console. It's a lot neater. So I think honestly, I'm just going to make my custom console my primary hand printer. And that was really about the only issues I ran into. The construction was fairly easy. Didn't really run into issues. A lot of great videos online. I just followed the instructions off of those. Didn't really have a problem with those. And so that completes my submission video. I hope I receive approval. Have a pleasant evening.